Hannah Arendt, Life Lessons from a Philosopher of Freedom and Responsibility. A life defined by thought and action. Imagine a young girl in early 20th century Germany, walking through the cobbled streets of Linden, her head filled with questions about the world around her. Born into a secular Jewish family in 1906, Hannah Arendt seemed destined to grapple with the great dilemmas of her time. Her father's early death taught her about loss, while her mother's determination instilled resilience. By the time she grew into a young woman, her intellectual curiosity had led her to study under some of the most brilliant minds of the era, including Martin Heidegger and Karl Jaspers. Yet, Arendt's life was not one of academic comfort. The rise of totalitarianism in her homeland, her arrest by the Gestapo, and her eventual escape to the United States forged her into a thinker who not only observed the world but sought to change it. Arendt's life lessons, derived from her personal experiences and philosophical insights, remain powerful guideposts for navigating the complexities of modern existence. 1. The courage to think independently. Hannah Arendt's life unfolded during a period of tremendous intellectual and political upheaval. Born in 1906 in Germany, she showed an early aptitude for questioning conventional ideas. This quality defined her academic journey, particularly during her time at the University of Marburg, where she studied under the renowned philosopher Martin Heidegger. Their relationship, both professional and personal, was a blend of intellectual mentorship and emotional entanglement. Heidegger's philosophy of existentialism deeply influenced Arendt's early work, but his later political alignment with the Nazis forced her to confront a painful truth. Despite her admiration for his intellectual contributions, Arendt refused to overlook his moral failings. She chose to sever ties with him, a decision rooted in her commitment to ethical principles over personal loyalty. This moment exemplified her belief in the necessity of independent thought. For Arendt, thinking was not a passive activity but a form of active engagement with the world. It required courage to question established norms, even when doing so risked isolation or conflict. Her later works, such as The Life of the Mind, encapsulate this philosophy, urging individuals to think critically and resist the temptation of blind conformity. Through her experiences, Arendt teaches us that the act of thinking is a moral responsibility. It requires us to confront uncomfortable truths, challenge authority, and remain steadfast in our pursuit of understanding. 2. The responsibility of witnessing history. In 1933, when the Nazis rose to power, Arendt's life took a dramatic turn. As a Jewish intellectual, she quickly became a target of the regime. Arrested for her involvement in collecting evidence of Nazi propaganda, she experienced firsthand the brutal machinery of totalitarianism. Although she escaped imprisonment, her exile began, a journey that would take her from Germany to Paris, and eventually to the United States. These harrowing experiences shaped Arendt's understanding of the profound responsibilities borne by those who witness history. Her landmark work, The Origins of Totalitarianism, was not merely a historical analysis, it was a call to action. She meticulously documented how regimes like Nazi Germany and Stalinist Russia manipulated fear, destroyed individuality, and eradicated dissent to consolidate power. Arendt believed that it was the duty of those who had experienced oppression to speak out, not only to bear witness but to ensure that future generations would not repeat the mistakes of the past. She taught that confronting history's darkest moments is essential for building a more just and humane society. Her life reminds us that the truth, no matter how painful, must be preserved and shared. 3. Exile and the search for identity. Exile became a defining theme in Hannah Arendt's life. After fleeing Germany, she found temporary refuge in Paris, where she worked tirelessly to assist Jewish refugees. However, The outbreak of World War II and the Nazi occupation of France forced her into a second exile. Interned in a French detention camp, Arendt managed to escape and eventually secured passage to the United States in 1941. Stateless and stripped of her citizenship, Arendt experienced the vulnerability of those without a homeland. These experiences deeply influenced her reflections on the nature of human rights. In her essay, We Refugees, she articulated the plight of stateless people, arguing that rights should not depend on nationality but on our shared humanity. Despite her struggles, Arendt's resilience allowed her to build a new life in America. She became a naturalized citizen in 1951 and established herself as a prominent thinker. Through her journey, she taught that identity transcends borders and is rooted in our values, our connections, and our ability to adapt to new circumstances. Her life challenges us to redefine belonging, not as a matter of geography, but as a commitment to shared human dignity. 4. The Banality of Evil, a call to moral reflection. One of Hannah Arendt's most enduring contributions to philosophy is her concept of the banality of evil. This idea emerged from her coverage of Adolf Eichmann's trial in Jerusalem in 1961, which she later chronicled in Eichmann in Jerusalem, a report on the banality of evil. Eichmann, a bureaucrat responsible for organizing the logistics of the Holocaust, was not the sadistic monster many expected. Instead, he appeared disturbingly ordinary, a man who claimed to be just following orders. For Arendt, this revealed a profound truth about human nature: great evil often arises not from malevolence but from thoughtlessness. Arendt's observation was controversial but transformative. It shifted the focus from viewing evil as the domain of monstrous individuals to recognizing how ordinary people can perpetuate atrocities through blind obedience and a lack of moral reflection. Her life lesson here is stark: moral responsibility requires active thought. Failing to question authority or consider the consequences of one's actions can lead to devastating outcomes. 5. Friendship as a space for intellectual growth. Arendt cherished her friendships, particularly with thinkers like Karl Jaspers and Mary McCarthy. These relationships were not mere social bonds but vital spaces for intellectual exploration and mutual growth. With Jaspers, Arendt shared a deep philosophical rapport. He became a mentor and confidant, supporting her during her exile and encouraging her intellectual pursuits. Similarly, her friendship with McCarthy was marked by lively debates and a shared commitment to truth and honesty. Arendt believed that true friendship allowed for the free exchange of ideas, unencumbered by societal expectations. In her view, friendships rooted in mutual respect and curiosity created a safe space for personal and intellectual development. Her life teaches us the importance of cultivating relationships that challenge and inspire us. True friendship, she believed, is a partnership in truth-seeking, where differences are embraced as opportunities for growth. 6. The public sphere and the value of political action. For Arendt, the public sphere was the foundation of a vibrant democracy. She believed that individuals found their true freedom through active engagement in public life. In her seminal work The Human Condition, she explored the concept of vita activa, emphasizing the importance of labor, work, and action. While labor and work sustain life and create lasting objects, it is through action, engaging with others in the public realm, that individuals express their uniqueness and shape history. Arendt viewed the public sphere as a space where people could come together to debate, deliberate, and collaborate. Her life underscores the importance of political participation. Whether through writing, teaching, or activism, Arendt demonstrated that democracy thrives when citizens actively contribute to the public good. Her lesson is clear: freedom is not a solitary endeavor but a collective achievement, realized through dialogue and action. 7. Truth and Lies in Politics. Arendt was deeply concerned about the role of truth in political life. Having witnessed the propaganda tactics of Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union, she understood the dangers of manipulating facts to control public perception. In her essay, Truth and Politics, Arendt argued that truth is the foundation of trust, and without it, democracy cannot function. She warned that when leaders distort reality, they undermine the public's ability to make informed decisions. Her reflections resonate strongly in today's world of misinformation and fake news. Arendt's life lesson here is urgent. Defending truth requires vigilance, courage, and a commitment to holding those in power accountable. 8. The Power of Forgiveness and New Beginnings. In The Human Condition, Arendt wrote about forgiveness as a way to break the cycle of vengeance and create the possibility for new beginnings. Her own life offered examples of this principle in action. Despite the pain caused by Martin Heidegger's betrayal, Arendt later reconnected with him. While she never excused his actions, she believed in the power of dialogue and the possibility of redemption. Arendt's reflections on forgiveness remind us that it is not about forgetting but about creating space for renewal. Her life teaches us that forgiveness is an act of strength that allows individuals and societies to move forward. 9. Education as a tool for empowerment. Arendt valued education as a means of empowering individuals to think critically and engage meaningfully with the world. Her own life, shaped by her rigorous studies and intellectual mentors, exemplifies this belief. She viewed education not as a process of indoctrination but as a way to cultivate independent thought. In her essay, The Crisis in Education, she warned against the dangers of conformist teaching methods that stifled creativity and curiosity. Her life lesson is clear: education should inspire individuals to question, explore, and contribute to society as thoughtful and engaged citizens. 10. Legacy: The Immortality of Ideas. Hannah Arendt passed away in 1975, but her ideas continue to shape modern thought. From her analysis of totalitarianism to her reflections on freedom and responsibility, her works challenge us to confront the complexities of the human condition. Her life reminds us that the impact of ideas transcends time. Arendt's lesson is simple yet profound. The act of thinking and sharing ideas is a form of immortality, ensuring that one's contributions endure long after they are gone. Conclusion: a life of thought, responsibility, and legacy. Hannah Arendt's life was not merely a sequence of personal and professional milestones, it was a living manifesto of what it means to grapple with the human condition. She stood at the crossroads of history and philosophy, facing both the horrors of totalitarianism and the promise of human freedom. Her existence was a testament to the belief that thinking and acting with integrity could transcend the darkest of circumstances. Arendt's story is one of resilience. From her early years as a precocious child in Königsberg to her later life as a revered thinker in New York, she continually adapted to the shifting landscapes of politics, philosophy, and personal identity. Her exile, though deeply painful, became the crucible in which she forged her most profound insights. She transformed the alienation of displacement into a universal call for recognizing the shared dignity of all human beings, regardless of their nationality or circumstance. Her enduring contributions to intellectual thought teach us that philosophy is not an abstract endeavor removed from life's challenges. For Arendt, thinking was deeply practical. It was a means of understanding the world and responding to its complexities with clarity and courage. She argued that the act of thinking was not a luxury but a responsibility, a way to resist the pull of complacency and conformity in the face of injustice. Arendt's courage to confront difficult truths, whether through her critique of totalitarianism or her exploration of the banality of evil, underscores the power of moral clarity in a world often mired in ethical ambiguity. Her analysis of Adolf Eichmann, for example, reminds us that evil can thrive not only in overt acts of cruelty but also in the silent complicity of those who fail to think critically about their actions. This insight resonates today, urging us to question our own roles in sustaining or challenging systems of oppression. Arendt also leaves us with a profound vision of freedom. Unlike many thinkers who saw freedom as merely the absence of oppression, she understood it as an active, shared practice. Freedom, in her view, is realized through our interactions with others in the public sphere, through debate, collaboration, and collective action. This vision challenges us to move beyond individualism and recognize that our liberties are intertwined with the liberties of others. Her reflections on forgiveness offer another crucial lesson. Arendt believed that the ability to forgive is essential for breaking cycles of harm and opening the door to renewal. She practiced this principle in her own life, demonstrating that forgiveness does not mean condoning wrongs but rather creating the possibility for transformation. Her reconciliation with figures like Martin Heidegger, despite their failings, shows the immense strength it takes to prioritize understanding over resentment. Arendt's legacy is also a call to action. Her belief in the transformative power of education and dialogue challenges us to foster environments where independent thought and critical inquiry can thrive. She saw education not as a means of indoctrination but as a way to cultivate the kind of reflective, engaged citizens necessary for sustaining democracy. Her emphasis on dialogue, whether in friendship, politics, or philosophy, reminds us that the search for truth is a collaborative endeavor. Perhaps the most profound aspect of Arendt's legacy is her unwavering faith in humanity's capacity for renewal. Despite the atrocities she witnessed, she remained hopeful about the possibility of building a world rooted in justice and freedom. Her writings encourage us to resist despair and recognize that even in the face of great adversity, human beings possess the power to think, act, and create anew. As we reflect on her life and work, Arendt challenges us to take her lessons to heart. She asks us to think deeply, not only about the grand philosophical questions but also about the choices we make each day. She urges us to act responsibly, to engage with the world around us, and to defend the truth in an age where it is increasingly under threat. In embracing her teachings, we honor her legacy and affirm our own potential to shape the future. Arendt's life is a beacon of hope, reminding us that even amidst the chaos of history, the power of thought and the courage of action can illuminate the path toward a better world.